Hello everyone, and welcome to this fourth article in the series on the swimming rules. My name is Peter, and this week I want to talk about two things about the breaststroke rules. I call them long arms and scissor kicks. They're two of the most common infractions that you see from novices in breaststroke. So of course the novice swimmers always know what stroke they're doing, but they don't really understand when you tell them that something they did was outside the rules. At this stage of the season, many young swimmers are still learning how to do their strokes properly. Now, there are rules for everything in breaststroke, and this time I just want to talk about those two, the actions of the arms and the kick. The first rule is that the hands must not be pulled past the hips. I should do this. The local swimmers know that when I've got the white hat on, I'm talking about rules. And that's a rule. The hands must not be brought past the hips. Later on, you'll see if I've got the cap on, I'm talking about coaching. Right, now novices will try to get more propulsion by pulling all the way down the sides or the front. This is the sort of thing you'll see. They'll try to pull all the way down the front or all the way down the side. The hands have gone past the hips, and so they're outside the rules. I'll always try to suggest how to correct these infractions if I can. And what one of the books says to try to do is to either lie them across an anti-wave lane rope or across an inflated inner tube, and that way it'll prevent them from bringing their arms past their shoulders. It'll force them to stroke like this. Now, moving on, that was the first one, that's the long arms subject. The second one I want to talk about in this article is about the scissor kicks. Now, a lot of novice swimmers, when they're learning breaststroke, learn to do a scissor kick first, because it's easier to learn and can provide more propulsion at first than the proper legal frog kick. In fact, it is used in side stroke, which is used in lifesaving as a survival stroke. Now, scissor kicks are outlawed in breaststroke, and usually they contravene two other breaststroke rules. One, that the actions of the legs must be in the same horizontal plane, and that both feet must be turned outwards in the propulsive phase of the kick. You won't find scissor kicks mentioned in the rules anymore, simply for that reason. It's redundant. If they're doing a scissor kick, they'll either not have a level kick or one of their feet won't be turned out properly. Now, once they've been learned, the scissor kicks are not an easy habit to break. Trying to correct it in the pool is difficult because the water won't prevent any of this from happening, and children have such poor body awareness that they do not know what is happening back there. Now, to help correct it in the water, you can do it like this. You can get them to hold a pool buoy between their knees, and we'll do that in another demonstration. I'll show you how to do the stretch. Children can lose their flexibility during growth spurts, which makes turning their feet out difficult. They'll kick with the tops of their feet, which is butterfly, not breaststroke. So this is one of the rare times that I would recommend doing a stretch, and this one goes like this. Sit upright on a solid surface, leave one leg straight out in front to take the pressure off, bend the other knee completely underneath, and turn the foot to point out to the side. We'll move around. Foot points straight out to the side. Backwards won't help, must be out to the side. Stay there for 2 minutes and then swap to the other side. Now, you need to be gentle because in this position the knee joint is very vulnerable. Do that for 2 minutes. Swap to the other side. And again, only apply as much pressure as feels comfortable. The main thing is to get that ankle joint flexible, but don't lean on it too much because the knee is in a vulnerable position there. Now, getting back to the drill, a couple of things to do that will help to correct scissor kicks. One is to lie them face down on a solid surface and get them to kick that way. You might have to help them because, as I said, children have very poor body awareness. So what you do, you lie them face down, and that way the pelvis and the knees can't go off level, and get them to kick that way. Draw the feet up, turn them both out. This is where you might have to help. And keep the pressure on the hands so that they can kick back against it. Keep practicing that until they've got that movement. They can do that automatically themselves. Now when you get into the water, pretend the sponge here is a pull buoy. Get them to hold the pull buoy between their knees and kick that way. That'll stop their knees from going one above the other. It's such a horrible drill that it fixes them up in 1 or 2 sessions if they're threatened with having to do it again if they do any more scissor kick. But again, I originally had more information in these articles, but then realised that some of it crosses over between officiating and coaching, and so I've restricted this article mainly to the rules and just as much as it takes to get the techniques within the rules. So what I'm going to do is make another separate article, which I always intended to make, about the difference between an ordinary stroke technique and a quality stroke technique, and I will refer you to that. The link to it will be in the description, so head over there to find out more about better breaststroke technique, because I reckon that if you're going to do a whole lot of work to get their strokes within the rules, you might as well teach them a quality technique as to teach them an ordinary one.